Call this May 20th council work session of Helena City Council to order. The only item on the agenda for this work session is a review of the year-to-date budget, which Mayor Rosner has prepared and provided to us for review.
Thank you, Councilman Dodson. So just to give you guys a little bit of walkthrough since last Monday night, we took some time to begin to describe the three largest areas, which are admin, fire, and PD. Those are what I'm prepared to speak to tonight. We still have a few questions on revenue. As you all know, Ms. Miller, our revenue officer, is retired. She'll be in to answer some questions later this week. What I can speak to revenue on is that it looks like I had budgeted for about a 5% increase in sales tax revenue. We're coming in somewhere, it appears as though closer to 10. I need to verify that. Somewhere between 5 and 10. So that's a good sign. I've got to go back through the holdup there is I've got to go back through revenue and determine what revenue have we received that's all we're going to receive. There's certain things that we receive once or twice a year. And then there's the other revenue items that are more regular throughout the year. So I've got to go through and map all that out. But and to the public, I still am working on the other departments. Once revenue and all departments have been reviewed, I will put this out for the public on our webpage for everybody to review. So we're not trying to withhold it. It's just taking me a little while to get through it. As everybody knows, we've had a lot of things going on in the last 2 weeks. So going through admin, the thing that caught my eye when we started this process is, a good measure at mid-year is you're about 50% through your budget. So it starts off at the top of page one, we got 68% of budget. And of course, that kind of threw me for a bit of a loop. So I went through some of the larger items. I indicated no additional expense on use tax. That's a one-time only thing. The Chamber of Commerce fee is at 200%. That's because the 25 fiscal year was not paid until 26. So that is double. Diversity Board, they did not hold an event this year. So I think, that's coming at zero. We'll probably get that back. The election expenses, I still need to dig into. It's got $9,000 in election expenses. we didn't have any elections in fiscal year 26. So, but that was, okay, cool. So that's run off. Thank you, Madison. And when you get down to the insurance general liability, came in 168,000 over budget. That's a one-time fee. 165 of that should be booked to insurance workman's comp. So we were $20,000 over budget on workman's comp insurance, but that was an increase that I'll be able to hopefully better plan for next year. Moving down, we've got legal and auditing. We're at 76% there. Last year we spent about $1 million, a little over $1 million. We budgeted 450. I need to go back and review a lot of the invoices that make that up to see whether that was recurring or residual charges from prior litigation to make sure. I know we do not have a lot of litigation going on right now, so I wouldn't feel like we were looking at another, $110,000, $125,000 over the next year, surely. But again, I'll get back to you on that. Flipping the page, everything else, if I haven't noted, is coming in at that 50% or below. If you flip the page, you can get to the R&M building. That's close to 100%. I sure hope we don't have repairs and maintenance on this building. It should all be covered under warranty. The train detection system. So at the time that I budgeted for the 100,000, that was the invoices that I was aware of. After subsequent January, we received additional invoices for work that was performed and equipment that was purchased that could not be returned. And again, by canceling that train detection system, there were projected costs of $400,000 to $500,000 to complete it. So we still were able to save considerable money by pausing that definitely for right now. But that's where that 90,000 comes from. The website, we're looking into this. I would not have expected us to be over budget on that. Just to go back and review the invoice, make sure that we've assigned the cost to the correct line item. So the little breakdown I've got in the bottom, total budget spent this year was $2,020,484. So all those items that I told you were like kind of one time, they're already paid and they're at 100%. Those items total 883. And so I took 7/12 of 883 to get an annualized figure. It was 512,490. So if you back that 512,490 out, we're coming out to 1,507,994, which is putting us at right over 50% for the year, which we're right where we need to be at a mid-year budget. And it was actually 7 months because this included April. Any questions on the admin budget? And there will be additional scrubbing and it could be some additional notes and changes made. And again, this is an ongoing discussion. So if we want to move on, we can go back. You guys are happy to email me questions in the coming days. And this was taken from the spreadsheet that was provided to y'all. The only addition that was made was a little calculation I did at the bottom of as well as the notes. So I can share that with y'all tomorrow. Well, part of the challenge that I have is surprise bills for commitments that were made prior, and those should be winding down this far into the term. I would expect not to have any further. I talked to Gresham Smith. That should all be taken care of at this point. I will immediately bring it to y'all's attention should any additional fees be received due to that system.
Help me on the equipment. You said we couldn't give any of the equipment back for that. Is there any way of selling any of that?
The equipment currently
I'm not sure what equipment it is, so I appreciate you.
It's some cameras, it's some sensory detection systems, it's some poles for the mounting. All of that equipment is at the shop. Return was not an option initially. It is stored safely so that if we want to pick this project back up when revenue allows, we'll be able to pick up right where we left off. So it did not go to waste. Right now, postage other is not tracking towards exceeding the 12.5. We're only at 2,500 and change. We're a hair under, I think 7/12 is actually 58%. So we're trending at 54% right now. If we do miss, I would think that it would be marginal at best. Postage is hard for me to quantify and project out for 5 months. But the way the first 7 months have tracked, I would expect it to be at or very close to budget.
That's first.
Correct.
That refers to
Well,
post.
Madison, let me run that back to you. I mean, when the fire, the police use postage, does that go on theirs, or does that, because it comes through our postage machine, is it all billed into admin? Okay, I stand corrected, Kathy. Postage on fire. Hold on, just a moment.
We probably only have a single indicia, so that's probably why it's used from a single account, no matter if it's cost share or not. I assume that has to be the reason why.
Kathy, I'll be honest. I'm sorry, Councilman Heeman. This initial scrub, I looked for over a certain dollar value. And those that were, and of course, that percentage is way off. I have not looked into that due to the dollar value on it at less than $500. We can look into that, and I can get you something on that. I don't know.
That's fine. Yeah.
And once this spreadsheet's complete, I'll be able to. Yeah, the actual is 305. The budgeted was 200. So, right, yeah, yeah, yeah. Once we hammer out revenue, and we're actually getting, and we don't have to do this each month in terms of the scrub, we're getting the painful part out now in this first iteration. You guys, when you get the spreadsheet, you'll be able to go back and drill into and see what invoices are coming in through each line item to make up that amount, to give you guys a better idea. Yeah. It's just a process of getting it built from scratch.
Back to the other postage item, postage newsletter. I know we've discussed, maybe scaling down the Helena, the magazine itself. Is that postage newsletter, does that go towards the publication of the
Yes.
Helena, the magazine?
It
That's
does.
not just postage for that publication.
It's a publication. The whole package is budgeted for 100,000.
But that's pursuant to a contract, correct?
Correct.
And that contract expires this fiscal year.
It does.
Right.
And I've already talked with Alec at Shelby County Reporter to talk about renegotiating that to potentially lower the quality, not of the content, but we always want to improve the content, but the high gloss, the binding, all of those things are areas that we could potentially save money on.
Just, for our use, this doesn't have anything to do with the cost itself, but I just picked up, and it could be a minor oversight on our end, but I just want to use
any one student compared to the thousands of students across Helena. I noticed this past week that we actually recognized one student for essentially the same accomplishment over the period of the same year. I don't think the average parent is paying attention to that or the reader of the magazine, but we have thousands of kids. So I think we need to be a little bit more balanced and to fill space in the magazine with a kid
Yeah.
versus looking at the overall population. And like I said, it's minor, but if we're looking for fillers, I think we need to be more intentional about what is published, more content. For example, Parks and Rec scheduled the fraud prevention workshop with Avadian Credit Union. I think every senior citizen or any person who may be afraid of being scammed or want a digital footprint, the magazine should be used for that purpose. That's meaningful information
I agree.
that reaches a larger
The
population.
senior schedule, I believe, is in the magazine. Yeah, I'm just saying, I think the senior schedule is, and upcoming athletic events that are known about are in the first several pages. Now, in terms of the content that you speak to, I completely agree. There's no need in honoring the same student for the same award within the same year. I will talk to the editor about that. That was missed. I did not catch that it was the same person. But yeah, that's very much noted. And I would love to have a hand from those of us around this table to improve the content and work with Shelby County Reporter to make sure that we're getting out the most meaningful information to our citizens.
And I know we may have punted this to maybe Keith and Chief Miller about helping us to figure out the address piece. But, you know, all residents in Helena aren't receiving it. So if we reduce the cost, how are we going to reach the larger population? Direct mail may not be it, but because we're moving towards more of the internet and use of a tool, i.e. our webpage, a request for digital subscription may be more advantageous to lower our costs for a direct mail. But I don't think, you know, this should come at the last minute if the overall intent
Yeah.
is to lower the cost.
Well, I think that, you know, it may be good for us to put on aside some time. I'll find out when that contract's coming up and maybe put some time on a work session specifically for dedicated to what we want in the magazine and maybe offering some digital subscriptions to save on the direct cost. We can have Alec from Shelby County Reporter join us and kind of walk through that. I mean, I know the community has been in tune with the magazine. I think that would be beneficial to everybody.
Now, the miscellaneous bank charges, that's not interest bearing. Is that account specific based on the type of account we hold or accounts we hold?
Madison, can you speak to that? Is that from Trustmark?
Let's translate that. What is a scanner fee? Okay, got it.
Digital, yes. Yeah, that's your scanning fee.
And we no longer have a relationship or very much. We may have one small account with Trustmark. We're not using it for general fund. Our commercial or our municipal banking, almost all of our accounts are at Central State Bank now.
The dues and subscriptions, that goes across departments. Okay. So is that, I know that's not like the Alabama League of Municipalities. What,
I believe it is in there. And that's that, the reason that's so low right now is because that renewal has not occurred yet.
so I might push back on you just a little bit.
Okay.
Your dues is by the size of your city. So the size of your city determines your due structure. So what I'm going to say about the appearance of this whole dollar amount, it would be the equivalent of a class one municipality. So there would be multiple dues
Yeah.
and subscriptions included in here versus just the league.
Well, I was not referring to the whole remaining balance, was just the league. I think that's a substantial portion of the remaining, but not all of it by far. I can get you an idea of what additional dues are going to make up that 35 that was budgeted. That was that line item when I made the budget, I kept pretty stagnant from the prior year at 35,000, if I remember correctly. Yes.
Right, that's right, that's right.
Yes, but the building inspectors would go under the inspection. Yeah, those are under the department.
So potentially, right. So potentially this number was carried forward maybe from the previous budgeted amount.
I'll have to go back and look at my notes.
Do you think also, Madison, this had to do with like when we paid our fees to go to the convention last year for ALM up in Huntsville, just for the fees?
That would have been under probably conferences.
Okay,
Travel
all right.
expenses.
Yeah.
And our employee benefits, that takes effect, is that July 1?
Yes.
Change of benefit?
Yes.
So do we carry over any changes in the cost of health insurance for the current year? Or do we carry it forward until we start the new fiscal year? Let's just say health insurance.
Yeah, it goes up.
Right, and we pick up the employees portion. Have we planned for that in the current fiscal year, or it carries and we pick it up in the new fiscal year?
It is not, I gave a marginal increase to benefits to cover any additional cost incurred with the contract. I will tell you that I'm going to be setting a meeting with our benefits providers to begin to look at those contracts next month before we get to July 1st to see if we can find any savings for our employees without enduring additional cost to the city.
You may have to help me with this one. This will be my last question.
Okay.
And I may have stumbled upon this in a bad way previously. Are the telephone costs inclusive of the reimbursement we receive from the county?
The telephone base system, 821,
Yeah,
that's our contract with it's telephone and internet through C Spire.
got it. Okay, all right.
Seems like several of the previous years, we have had some type of HVAC maintenance, typically on the sports complex or somewhere. We haven't had any of that this year. We don't anticipate any.
Well, you can't anticipate HVAC repair on older units. Madison, when did we replace the units on the new public safety center, the old city hall? I know that the units were replaced at the sport at, hey, Bill? Is Bill Miller's not here? Okay. I believe that the units at the sports complex were replaced last year.
They were.
And one other
I think-
facility was the year or
And I
two
think
before.
So I would not expect a significant HVAC bill based on the life, to my understanding, of the units that we currently are.
Yeah, I was thinking the major, our main buildings were pretty recently been replaced.
Correct.
So I
Correct.
was hoping we could avoid that one.
Yeah. And we can always revisit this. I know we're pushing the 6:30 in terms of coming back to admin. On fire, both, and let me go ahead and also say that our department heads have done an excellent job of curtailing as much spending as possible and have really been getting by on the bare bones needs. In looking at Chief Miller's budget to actual that you guys have in front of you, he's coming in at about 47% of his budgeted amount as of right now. There are several items on this that I still need to meet with Chief Miller about for us to get on just kind of hammer out some details on that. At a high level, I know there's some, like I said, there's some items we need to look into, and I cannot speak to each line item the way that I could on admin at this point. Similarly, the police budget, just to hit that one, there are some notes that I have made on that. I did have an opportunity to meet with Chief Wood. The biggest issue causing them to be at a little over 50% is and again, keep in mind, 7/12 would be 58. So they're trending in a little lower. Madison, I need to sit down and take a look at how the SROs are being paid to make sure that those are coming out of the 1 cent fund and that we're being off like overtime. And also that some of the county reimbursements that we get are being credited towards that. I think additionally, ADECA pays us a grant money to run overtime for traffic violations. Need to make sure that reimbursement we're getting from ADECA is offsetting those expenses on that line. I do need to dig into that. And then the other one that's shown significant at 102% is the protective clothing. We receive again another reimbursement for about $2,300, which will directly offset that and bring that back down into alignment. And generally speaking, I believe that most of the protective equipment that we get reimbursed up to 50%. We just wait on those reimbursements.
Is the $55,000 for 500 flock cameras, is that for additional cameras?
Believe that's the maintenance.
Annual maintenance.
Annual
Yearly maintenance.
fees,
Okay.
yeah.
I didn't see it in last year's, it's blank in last year's column, so I wasn't sure.
So I think once we go ahead. Correct. Yeah, and I think they were on that. Yeah, you can see them at the top of the admin. 10,500,
that, yeah.
32,000. That needs to shift over to the
Okay.
police.
I missed it on my.
Yes, the budget.
Yeah, thank you those are the copiers, and those invoices can come in with multiple copiers. It seems a little high for the PD copy machine, so I want to go back and look at those invoices and make sure that we're booking those to the right department. All the other departments are coming in right at either 50% or a little bit below. There was not huge swings in those. I should be able to hammer through those pretty quickly and have revenue ready for you by our next meeting. At that point in time, we'll also be able to get that attached to the website. And then hopefully by the June 22nd meeting, we can have an updated spreadsheet with May numbers. And just also to kind of go back to the elephant in the room, what makes this so difficult, of course, is the systems that we've talked about from the beginning. We did, y'all all know, just hire our new financial director. She's going to be starting on June 1st. My game plan is to give her the summer to get her legs underneath her, get a lay of the land for our current systems. And in our software computer equipment expense under admin, it's significantly low. I budgeted about 70, I think 85,000. Let's see here. 80. And we still got about 77 left. That is for the software. So I hope to start on that first quarter fiscal year 27. So fourth quarter this year on that implementation.
Any additional questions, comments on the year-to-date budget for the mayor?
The partial year-to-date budget.
Partial year-to-date budget?
Yeah, I'll change it.
Okay. You have anything
Yes,
else for
sir.
us?
Not at this time. Thank you all for your patience as I've been putting this together and getting this built out.
And with that, this work session is adjourned. We will start at 6:35.
I think that's fine.
We'll start the special called meeting of Helena City Council at 6:35 PM. I call this special called meeting of the Helena City Council to order. We'll begin with our invocation with Councilman Andy Healy.
Bow your heads, please. Heavenly Father, thank you for the opportunity to serve this community. Grant this council wisdom in its decisions, integrity in its leadership, and compassion for all the residents. Help us work together with respect and unity for the good of our city. Amen.
Thank you, Councilman. And for our Pledge of Allegiance, I'll ask Councilwoman Kathy Hammond to lead us in that. And thank you, Councilwoman Hammond. Next on our agenda is council roll call. Madam Clerk?
Here.
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 We have quorum. Next item on our agenda, the only item on our agenda is, the only item of business on our agenda is approve or deny the employee handbook. At this time, open up to council comments on the employee handbook.
Thank you, Mr. President. One of the things I want to say is that, through this process, we have been given suggestions and options for changing the handbook and meeting needs of what we've been told or needs of the departments. One of the things I like to say is I know the timing has fallen on us at a hard time for June 1st date. But I think we can look at this again if 4 months, let this go into act tonight, do the 4-month review, and maybe in 4 months we look at it again and if there are changes then. Because there were some darn good suggestions that were made. But, I don't know, since we have to get this off, we are looking at 3 holidays between now and the new fiscal year. So that's just my thoughts on the matter here tonight.
I'll reiterate our option to review, reconsider anything in this handbook at any time from any department. And it's, I won't even limit it to 4 months. I mean, anytime a cause comes to us, need to review and revisit any of the provisions in this handbook, we're here for that. And we're open to that at any time.
Council President, I have a question. We have 3 holidays left in this fiscal year. If this handbook is passed, we have to pay that amount out. It's not budgeted for police and fire. What is that dollar amount and where does it come from?
Mayor Rosner, is that in our current budgeted?
Currently, all 8 to 5 employees other than public safety, the holiday pay is budgeted into their salary. With the prior policy of doing comp time in lieu of, I do not have that quantified on what 3 holidays would run.
Any other comments or questions from council? Seeing none, I'll open the floor to public comment on this item. Just on this item, we'll have open public comment after this item. Do we have any public comments on this item before us? Please state your name and address and limit to 3 minutes.
My name's Solace Lindsay from 821 Stone Ridge Drive, just down the street from you and around the corner from the mayor there. I'd like to make the comment that this handbook the holiday pay issue. The firemen are quite upset, and they would like their holiday leave, and it's understandable. We're in a time where departments across this country are starting to switch schedules to limit the number of hours that these firemen work because of health reasons, recovery times. We've even had several in Alabama make that switch. This handbook is going to cost us money. There is cost savings in this handbook by allowing people to have holiday leave and paying it out. I have asked, the firefighters have asked for weeks for somebody to explain how there's not cost savings in it, and nobody can explain that to us. There is, as was pointed out, there is not budgeted money for the holidays of this year. And I think there needs to be some thought process to that. And I understand that it is, needs to be done by June 1st, but we still have time in this month. You guys are gonna, part of this handbook is asking these guys to work on the holidays. You guys could have your council meeting on the holiday, just like you're asking them to work on the holiday.
Thank you, Mr. Lindsay. Do we have any additional public comment? Please state your name and address.
I'm Silas Lindsay Senior, okay, 823 Stone Ridge Drive. In full disclosure, quite obviously, I'm Edward Lindsay's father. Also, for over 30 years, I've been a friend, I consider him a friend. Mike Woods, known him, and Helena's very proud, or should be very proud to have him here. I know the needs of the fire department and the police department. As a citizen, I think is the biggest concern that any city should have for our safety and our protection. And I'd ask the council and everyone to look at the full scope of how your decisions are working with the fire department and the police department, so all the needs are met. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lindsay. Do you have any additional public comment? You may speak, Chief.
As both has said, I've known him for 30 years and I love Silas to death. However, this is not a police and fire issue. I want to make that clear. All right, the police department has not been involved in any of this discussion on holiday pay or anything else. My guys like the idea of getting paid for a holiday. All right. He brought up the point, they have to work the holiday. We've always had to work the holiday. There's nothing new transpiring here, except for now. You will get compensation for working that holiday instead of it being on a book, because you're the one that's here working it. So I do have issue with that. We're included in something that we were not included in. So that's the point I want to make here.
Thank you, Chief Wood. Please state your name and address. Thank you.
Dorothy Carlisle, 3782 Helena Road. I just want to speak and say thank you for the opportunity to speak, and that I especially want to address the difference in police and fire, as the fire department, the firemen have to spend 24 hours. And so, you know, there's a good bit of time that is taken away from the family, which in Helena, we are a family community, and that's very important to us. And if there's not a very prominent difference in that, I mean, the money is not what's in that they are concerned about. It's making up those holidays that not only they, but all of their family do not get to spend with them a lot of times. And so I would like for you to take that into consideration. And I think that's one of the things that is, you know, has made this so prominent, is that they, you know, that they need to be asked, and they need to tell you what they think. And I think that that would be a great thing for each of them to be able to express what their wishes are. And y'all know enough that you can say, hey, well, that's not going to work because this, and this. And And I think that they appreciate that. They aren't here to try and argue with you or anything. They just want it to be explained, because that definitely affects their lives and all of their families' lives. And I thank you for this time.
Thank you for your comment. Any additional public comment on this item? Seeing none, any additional comments or questions from council before we entertain a motion?
I would just like to say, understanding this role going in, it requires difficult decisions to be made. And I would like to encourage the mayor that once this handbook is put in place, whether that be tonight or at a future time, that he get all parties at the table and hash this out in a way that can be equitable for everyone. As the only person up here that has a family member with this fire department, I understand the levity of it. It's the gravity of it. It's near and dear to me as well. But sometimes decisions have to be made looking at the best interest of the city as a whole and not one individual group. I don't like to hear that our police department may be impacted negatively on this. So I would encourage whatever we do tonight, that we come back to the table, have a discussion as to how we might be able to amend this going forward, if that's possible. That's all I got.
Thank you, Councilman Wilson. Any additional comment from council?
Yes, I have one. Before you ask for a vote, I'm going to bring you back to ordinance 1030-2025, our council rules of procedure. Section 6.16. It states that all ordinances, resolutions, and propositions submitted to the council which require the expenditure of money shall lie over until the next meeting, provided that such ordinances, resolutions, and propositions may be considered earlier by unanimous consent of the council, and provided further that this rule shall not apply to the current expenses of or contracts previously made with or regular salaries of officers and wages of employees. So my interpretation of this is we have a large expenditure for 3 holidays for police and fire that have not been budgeted. We don't know the money, the dollar amount of that. So I believe that that falls into this ordinance where we can't move forward at this point.
I'd like to ask City Attorney Brian Hayes if you could give us some insight on that.
On the fly.
On the fly.
Yeah. Holiday pay, and I'm just analyzing out loud, so there is no attorney-client. We're all in an understanding of that, correct, counsel? Okay, so you're asking me for a quasi-legal opinion on this in public.
If that's okay, is that in order?
I mean, if you're waiving it, I mean, if you're all in a consensus to waive it, I would ask Madison to do a vote to waive the privilege. And then I can answer the question. I mean, y'all hold the privilege. I don't hold the privilege. It's not my privilege, it's your privilege.
Okay, Madam Clerk, I'll ask for a roll call vote on waiving privilege to answer this item.
Yes.
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 The city incurs the cost either way. Am I correct? Whether it's rolled over at a future time or whether it's baked into the budget. The city cannot not account for holiday time and holiday pay. You know, it's been rolled in the future, but everybody gets to take it later or get paid for it later. So I don't know if without doing some digging, I don't know if the time frame of when it's paid has an effect. But within the budget and when the hours work, when the council sets a holiday schedule, you know, it's either rolled or paid. So I don't know if all police and all fire automatically roll theirs. I'm not privy to that information. Mayor said earlier, it's paid out for admin because they're off those holidays. City Hall's closed. So if you have budgeted it somehow or carrying it on a line item, I don't see the additional expenditure straight out. It's just when it hits is the only change. And without doing some digging, that's a 10-second analysis going through my mind right now on it.
Council President, can I address that also? So in terms of budgeted for holiday pay, Councilwoman Ham is accurate. I could not give you the amount that those 3 holidays are going to run. Nor could I have told you back on January 5th, when we passed the budget, how much holiday time we were going to pay as comp time, because we didn't know when people were going to take it. It's been kind of a wild card from the beginning. We could have a month that we have 5 people take holiday pay. That's not in the budget. We could have 20. That's not in the budget. This is a way for us to get an idea of what our budget is. But those costs related to holiday pay have never been there. The holiday pay we've paid out to date this year, because it's happenstance on when it's taken, there was no way to budget for it. So while I understand your position, Councilman Hammond, and I'll be happy to get you that amount, until we can get this in, it's very hard to budget for it, period. In terms of addressing where we'll find the funds, there's no doubt we're tight. I'll be happy to get the amount that we're going to need from police and fire to pay those holidays and provide that to council. I know that one council person's on vacation next week and would not be able to attend. We would not have a quorum. I don't know if you guys are wanting to punt this, but my point is the holiday pay up to this point has never been budgeted because there's no way to know where it's coming. We will find the funds. We're going to pay our people. We're going to take care of our people. So I don't have a better answer for you on that.
Mr. Mayor, I have no doubt that we're going to take care of our people, police, fire, and 8 to 5 hours.
Correct.
I mean, that's a given. But if we're changing policy with the handbook and we're moving forward to move the city forward, I believe that we need all the information before we can make a decision. I mean, we're going to pay it. Yes, we're going to find the money somehow. I get that. But we need to stop running things by the seat of our pants, if you excuse that kind of an expression. I don't know how else to say it, other than let's plan it. Let's follow the process and procedures. As you know, that's my game. That's my thing. Thank you.
And if I may real quick, Mr. President, you have a CSA in effect in the state of Alabama now that's going to require this handbook to be in place by June the 1st. It's enumerating section 9 of the handbook, of the CSA. So please keep that in mind if y'all need to set another meeting or anything else.
Within our waiver of privilege, do we need immediate consideration to pass this tonight?
You have to give me like 5 minutes to dig into this. So, and it's still on the fly. So, if you want to take a 5 or
Do
10
we
minute
need to take a
recess.
5 minute?
5 minute recess, please.
Yeah.
Suggest we take a 5-minute recess on this, please.
I move for us to take a 5 or 10 minutes, which one? 15. I move for a 15-minute recess.
Do I have a second for a 15-minute recess?
I'll
Second.
Didn't.
Madam Clerk, a roll call vote.
Yes.
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 A lot of discussions going on. So appreciate y'all's patience. Hey, Murph, Addison will be happy to know that you're here. I have to tell Addison that you were here. And I know it. She'll be excited to see. She'll go, Murph was there.
Madam Clerk, I'll ask for a roll call.
Here.
Here.
No,
Oh, that's,
no,
oh, yeah.
Yes or no to reconvene?
Yes.
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 I'll entertain a roll call.
Yes.
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 Yes. Reopen our discussion on the employee handbook. Mayor Rosner, I'm sorry, Chief Miller? Yes, yes.
You answer truthfully. Seeing as how I'm the chief of the department and everything, I don't want my people to think that I don't support them in their calls. Have I done anything to say or to paint the picture that I don't support the firemen in wanting what they have asked?
Not to my knowledge, Chief.
No,
I
Mr.
haven't heard
President.
anything to the negative.
No, have I been forthcoming with every piece of information that you've asked for?
Yes, you have. And I'll go ahead and add to that, Chief, that when you addressed me last Monday morning and asked for me to give the union an opportunity to meet with me, voice their concerns and have a conversation, that meeting was held largely because of you going to bat for your guys and asking for that meeting.
Thank
So
you.
You advocated for them, and that's one of the main reasons why I entertained that meeting.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I want to make it very clear that although I see both sides of this. I see the need to pay it. I need to see the need to control how much liability that the city stands against. I do support you guys 110% because I was just accused of not supporting you. And nothing is further from the fact. So I just want to be clear. And I mean, if I've come off that way, it is not that way at all. And I know that it is not just about the fire department. But thank you.
Thank you, Chief Miller. We can resume our discussion and comment on the employee handbook. Mayor Rosner, did you wish to speak?
Yes, President Dotson. So during the recess, I understand Councilwoman Hammond's inquiry and wanting to understand the funds attached to this and how it would be paid for. I proposed committing to, well, first of all, I talked to both chiefs, and on the extreme high side for 3 holidays, we're looking at about $60,000. It'll likely be $5,000 to $10,000 less than that, but just to be conservative, it's $60,000. As I said earlier in this meeting, I have about $72,000 budgeted for software that I said was not going to be done until first quarter of next year. So we do have the funds to pay the 3 holidays by shifting those funds from software to the 3 holidays for our public safety officials and officers.
Thank you, Mayor. Do we have any other questions or comments from council on this item? Okay, at this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve or deny the employee handbook.
I'll go ahead and be the GOAT. I'll make a motion that we approve the employee handbook.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Madam Clerk, a roll call vote.
Yes.
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 No.
The employee handbook is approved. Next item on our agenda is our period for public comment. Madam Clerk. Thank you. All right, first we have Logan Johnson. Please state your name and address, and please keep it to 3 minutes.
My name is Logan Johnson. My fiance is a Helena firefighter, and we live at 5411 Oak Hill Drive. I wanted to start by saying that currently firefighters earn 120 hours of vacation leave, 140 hours of holiday leave, and 140 hours of sick leave. Under the proposed policy, removing holiday leave would cut their time by roughly 56%. While this may increase annual pay by approximately $3,000, it also takes away valuable time they are able to spend with their families. For many of these men, that time matters far more than a paycheck increase. These men pour so much into the community beyond responding to emergencies. They spray the grass at the intermediate school, read to the children at the elementary school, participate in show and tell at AIM Academy, help with carpool drop-off, and take part in the Santa Claus parade. Yet with this policy, they are treated as if they are simply numbers or a means to an end. In reality, they are fathers, husbands, brothers, and sons. Many of these firefighters came to Helena because of the passion and the morale within the department. But when the employees are treated like a number instead of human beings, that passion begins to disappear. At what point separates Helena from any other department offering the same benefits? This difference should be that the city values its firefighters as people and not just employees. It is difficult to understand how the city claims paying these men fairly puts Helena into debt while spending $24 million on a new city hall doesn't. The firefighters' proposal would save the city approximately $90,000 per year. They were willing to compromise both their time and their benefits for the sake of this city, so why is the city unwilling to compromise in return? As city leaders and representatives, your responsibility is to do what's best for the community. Why does that not include the firefighters who serve and protect it every single day? This policy sends the message that despite everything they do, the city simply wants them to work more. I would ask each of you to truly think about what this city would look like without these men and how Helena would function without firefighters responding to emergencies every single day with professionalism, compassion, and selflessness. My fiance and I are getting married this October in South Carolina, and with this policy beginning in June, it adds unnecessary stress and uncertainty to our lives because now we have to worry about whether he will have enough time off for our wedding and future family obligations. I am deeply disappointed that the fire chief, the mayor, and some city council members were upset that the firefighters attended the last meeting to advocate not only for themselves, but for their families. I'm especially disappointed that the fire chief not only failed to advocate for his department, but reportedly instructed the firefighters on duty not to attend this meeting at all. It is also important to recognize the mental and emotional toll this profession already carries. Firefighters are reportedly 3 times more likely to die by suicide than in the line of duty. Nearly 46.8% of firefighters report experiencing suicidal thoughts at some point in their lifetime, and firefighter suicide rates estimated to be double that of the general population. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Johnson. Next is Tom Stanberry. Please state your name and address.
Tom Stanberry, 146 Cedar Bend Drive. I wanted to, Mr. President and council members, I wanted to address you to talk about communications and marketing of Helena. Councilman McDaniel was very on point about the usefulness of the magazine. As I've said before in public comment, I think we're paying a lot for a little. It's like we've hired a contractor, a publisher, to handle our content and our marketing. We can do better than that. I sold some of the first websites to law firms in the state of Alabama. I did so for 7 years. My mantra when I sold them was content is king. Our website is still pitiful. It has not been improved since it was initially put online. There's metadata that's absent. Helpful links are missing. There's no, they're broken links. There's no consistent formatting in all of the departments. There's nothing about the BOA. We can better utilize our resources and probably pay for a part-time or full-time person to handle the communication within the city and the marketing of the city. 7 pages for one sport, for one person, that's 15% of the magazine. I think we need to be more inclusive in what we put in the magazine and what people see. Also, the amount of text in the, how much time do I have? Thank you. The amount of text that we have, content versus pictures, is deplorable. We need more input from city departments. Also, on another positive note, the clarity and transparency that came through during the budget review was inspiring. Each of you lived up to your campaign promises, and I appreciate all council members and the mayor for bringing that to the forefront and to fruition. I appreciate that very much.
Thank you, Tom. Next, we have Mary Beth Lindsay. If you'll please state your name and address.
Hello, my name is Mary Beth Lindsay. I live at 821 Stone Ridge Drive. Those of you that know me, I am the wife of Captain Ed Lindsay. And I just want to start by saying thank you for the opportunity to speak. I don't take this opportunity lightly. I'm a very big proponent, loud proponent of free speech and an advocate for citizens being able to be involved in their local government. I would like to publicly address my disappointment at the vote that has just occurred tonight to pass this version of the employee handbook. I don't believe the full picture of the implications of this handbook have really been addressed. This version of the handbook blatantly removes benefits, the holiday benefits, the holiday time benefits from not just one, but two departments of the city municipal employees, while simultaneously costing the city additional funds, which we've just heard that is going to cost extra money for this to happen. In a time when public sentiment is focused and has been previously campaigned about, focused on fiscal responsibility, I find this particularly troublesome. The citizens of Helena should know and understand that the benefits are being stripped of these employees and the cost that is associated with this action. Chief Wood just mentioned earlier about that this would negatively impact the police department, and that's misleading. And I understand that there are probably many police officers that maybe want to be paid for this time, and that's fine. That's understandable. But the version of this handbook strips holiday time from two groups of the Helena employees. Not all employees, two groups of employees. Not Parks and Rec, not the library folks, not the sanitation workers, not the city council, not the mayor or the city hall employees, but from our first responders. Those are the police and firefighters. These men and women literally go to work every single shift, and they protect our citizens and are the first people to be called and help when those citizens are in need. They are on the scenes of car accidents, medical calls, when a person has an elderly person has fallen and they can't get up. They personally helped my mother get up because she's not able to. They help all of the citizens of our community. Both of these groups of people work more hours over the course of the year and are away from their families for more hours, away from their homes, their friends, all to serve the citizens of Helena. You just heard my husband give specific breakdown of hours, and and this young lady who just spoke a little bit ago about the number of hours that firefighters are in service for, and it's disappointing that information has previously been you guys have been misled with the previous information that's been presented. Specifically, firefighters work 25% more than a standard 40-hour work week. That is a difference of over 500 hours. For police officers, it's over 300. They work more hours. They physically, in the course of a year, work more hours. Yet you guys, the council, the mayor, some of these department heads have deemed that these employees are not deserving of the same amount of time off as a 40-hour employee.
Mrs. Lindsay, you've exceeded 3 minutes.
I'm sorry?
You've exceeded 3 minutes.
Okay. Again, I just want to know why. I want to know why. And I think the citizens of Helena, from transparency's sake, should be able to understand why. Thank you.
Thank you. Before we move to adjourn.
President Dodson,
Yes.
may I address
Yes.
council? I understand that this decision was not well received. We did run on making tough decisions. I can understand the concern from this young lady about her wedding and her honeymoon and future plans. I can understand Miss Lindsay's concern. These benefits were not stripped. They are being compensated for their time. My son is a firefighter at Alabaster. So firefighters and the work they put in are near and dear to me. When I analyzed this after meeting with the union, I looked at many different things. One of them was, are we in alignment with our other municipalities? And the answer to the question is, as it stands now, with our surrounding municipalities, our firemen are at or above the PTO offered, including Kelly days, to our peers. Currently, under the new handbook, firemen do receive vacation in their first year, which has never happened. And that holiday pay was required or holiday comp time was required in order for those firemen, those young firemen, to be able to get time. We fixed that. The other thing I'll speak to with that PTO is when a fireman gets a day off, that equates to 5 days off because they do. That is a benefit that they've provided to them, 24 on, 48 off. So those 5-day windows equate to 22 5-day windows. Now, if you compare that to a police, they have a total of 18 days. And they get, if they wanted to get those same windows, they couldn't get probably, well, technically 3 if it's 5 days. The one thing I want all of you guys out here to hear me is the beauty of this handbook is it can be revisited. If you come to me in a situation where you've burned through all those days and those Kelly days and you're not able, and you are running into the issue that you do not have enough time with your families, I will sit down and we will revisit this. And I know right now I'm in a room where I'm not well liked, and I understand that. But the one thing that I don't think I've broken is my word to the union, to any of the firefighters that I've met with. We put into place many of the recommendations that were well received from both firemen and the fire union. That will not stop. My door is always open to y'all. My door is open to all employees. But we were faced with one of the toughest decisions we've had to make since we took office. And I believe, based on the facts, the PTO that is offered, what is going on in the surrounding municipalities, and thinking of all employees, I do believe we've made the right decision, but I can and will admit when I'm wrong. So if that event comes up, let's revisit this and we'll address it. Thank you, Councilman Dodson, for allowing me time to address this.
Thank you, Mayor. Any additional comments from council?
Mr. President, I just have a few, and I probably haven't completely organized my thoughts yet. But Mayor, I at least appreciate you acknowledging that the handbook can be revisited. And I think that language is specifically in the handbook. So this is not the end. Unfortunately, as a community, I hate that there is some division around a privilege and not a right. A privilege that technically should be considered for many more aspects of the workforce than just the firefighters. I appreciate and respect them. Even my prior history as an advocate for the Alabama Education Association, I advocated for the rights of employees. So it is not something that I am unfamiliar with and something that I'm sensitive to. But the overall well-being of the city is at stake. I think you try in a very diplomatic way to sidestep the unfunded liability that we once carried on our books. If people want to talk about the history of what these privileges have done, we in turn now are paying the debt on your back from a bad bond deal, in part because of a privilege. So if we're going to talk about how employees are treated, how the citizens are treated, then let's open it up and talk about the big picture. I think there's an opportunity for us to come back and make this right by a larger group of employees. I say this often. I appreciate someone giving me the privilege to be able to sleep at night, and they take on a risk that I am not, and I'm at home. But the police department do that. Public Works do that. Sometimes I see people flying around the corner on 52 and I see someone from Public Works on a lawnmower, barely missed, a fatality. But unfortunately, because they don't put on the blues, the work that they do or the risks that they take may be overlooked. I don't miss that. If you look at the pay scale, chances are Public Works, of the three categories of those who are first responders, are the least paid or at least underpaid. Our rates are competitive. Our workforce is strong. So everything about our Public Works makes Helena a place for people to determine where they want to work as compared to some of the surrounding municipalities. Personally, if I'm going to be judged by my vote, then I don't think you understand me or where I stand with you as a citizen. I don't want to be judged on a single vote. I want to be judged on the care I have for this city and the respect that I have for individuals. Mr. President, that concludes my comments.
Thank you, Councilman McDaniels. Any other comments from council? I'd like to say, I've read every email that we've received from members of our fire department, and those have sent me to the mayor and to the city attorney for clarification on how this process took place. I know that there were meetings with department heads, and I know that there was input from personnel across different departments. And I feel like it was a thorough discussion over the process of a couple of months at least, once we got the Civil Service Act passed. So it was not an easy decision because, I still understood the concerns of the fire suppression personnel, the firefighters, but I also understood the need to have something equitable with other departments, other personnel, police and other city personnel. I would like to, just for clarification of the record, may I ask City Attorney Brian Hayes a question? Where did the language for this holiday pay come from?
The language was provided by an employee, not the chief of the Helena Fire Department.
Thank you. All right. Yes, Councilman McDaniels. This was a random employee or a firefighter? I mean, an employee of the fire department or a firefighter?
They're all firefighters. So it was not the chief that provided the information. We, HRM, in working with them, missed it in the meetings with the fire department. And I don't know if it was the first, it may have been the second meeting. One of the two, it was brought up. We asked for language to be provided. Language was provided, and the language actually in our handbook really mimics Alabaster's fairly closely. And that's why you saw an amendment from 11 to 10 hours, because they're on different scales. But that's was provided by them. I put it in the handbook and got it to the mayor to get to the department heads and, all the players, so to speak. So I, just want to clarify, it did not come from Chief Miller.
All right. Thank you for that clarification. Yes, Councilman.
Want to make maybe one clarifying point. We did approve the final iteration as we know it, 18.1 or whatever it is. So can we make sure that the iteration that was adopted tonight is the final one that included, I believe, some edits that were recommended by Councilor Heyman? Councilwoman Heyman, I think. Is that right?
Oh, yes,
Like
yes.
that-
I sent that out today. I sent that out today to them.
That's what made it.
Yeah, she called. I put it in one spot and has to do with police. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
Chief.
police hours.
But 8.4, I think, to 8.6 or something like that. But she called it and I did make that adjustment and emailed it to all of y'all and Madison earlier today.
Well, to sum all that up, this is a live document, and it is something that we can, we can hear consideration on at any time, and our doors are open for that. And, I think the mayor made a good case for, when that situation may arise. So, that option is always there. I just want to let all of our employees across all departments know that. And again, this was not an easy decision, but I think it's the right decision for all of our personnel and our city as a whole and our community. Any additional questions or comments from council again?
Yes.
Councilwoman?
Thank you, Mr. President. I ran on a platform of Kathy Listens. I'll listen to any citizen, any employee that has an issue, a concern, or a question. That is my job, is to bring it to the council, bring it to the mayor, bring it to our city attorney, and dig into it and find the answers. I hear repeatedly that this is a live document, that this document can be changed at any time. Several versions or suggestions have been made, as Councilman Healy suggested earlier, that we change. I've made a couple verbal to the mayor as well, and the document didn't change. So if the document is a live document and it's able to be changed, I think that we could do this for every department. I know it's a nightmare for administration, but there's software out there that handles that. I think we need to strive towards that so that each department is treated with the utmost respect for their time with their family and their contributions to the city. And I always remain faithful to every employee in the city and every citizen. I am here and I listen. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Hahn. Seeing no additional comment, this meeting's adjourned.
See you later.